Skeleton Key here again. And I've got my TBR for the book hibernation readathon that Simon at Savage Reads is doing. And this will run the 1st through the 8th. So the first week of August, and then a little bit extra there, which I think is nice because a lot of times these week-long readathons, I get to the last day and I'm like, man, I could just use one more day. So that's nice. It's 8 days. Yeah, I don't do I'm not, at least now, I'm not doing a whole video of my whole TBR for the month of August because you know how lots of booktubers, they have these fun little spinny wheels and board games and all sorts of really cool things that you can watch. Now, my TBR involves a big ass 3-ring binder, my dot journal, and way too much time of me just like scrolling through my Goodreads lists. So I'm not going to subject you to that. So I'm just going to do today just my TBR for the book hibernation readathon. And so he's got it split into the basic bear prompts and then the extra berry prompts. And I may end up doing some combining, which is definitely allowed in this, but I'm going to just come up with a book for each of the prompts, and I'll combine if I have to, but let's hope it doesn't come to that. So the first one is, of the basic bear prompts, is Sunburnt, a book with a red cover. And yeah, I come in 2 colors, bright white and bright red. Bright white hurts a lot less, so I try to avoid the bright red, but I do have The Beast of Beswick, and that's a nice red cover. And there's a bookmark. And this is a signed copy, isn't it? I think, yes. I got this signed for my cousin. So I don't get to see my cousin much at all anymore, but I did visit her last summer, and we bonded over Regency romance. So this is by Amalie Howard, and so this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I have never read La Belle et la Bête, or any. I've never watched the Disney movies. Nothing. The only retelling that I've read was Uprooted, and I have a feeling I'm gonna hate the Beauty and the Beast trope, but I do have a copy of La Belle et la Bête. Got it in the French, so it's just, and it's not that long, but I don't read that fast in English to begin with, and my reading in French is significantly slower. So I figure I'll zip through this first, and then I'll go back and read La Belle et la Bête. And we'll see what I make of the original and this particular retelling, and we'll see. The next prompt is hot or cold. Some people like it hot in the summer, and some people wish it were cold. Choose a book set somewhere super hot or super cold. I do not like the hot. One of the prompts in the extra berry prompts is summer social. Share a picture on social media of your favorite summer reading spot. And that's going to be my usual reading spot inside in the air conditioning, because I do not, outside is not, I do go outside and garden, and maybe I'll take a picture of where because I am trying to keep 2 tomato plants, and I think I'm down to 2 strawberry plants now. I'm trying to keep them alive, so I go out there and I take care of them, and I do have a chair out there, so maybe. And I did, during the reading rush, I listened to On Cats completely outside, so maybe I'll take a picture of that. But I am an indoor girl. I don't really have anything that's set anywhere particularly cold, other than like The Terror, which is yay thick, and If I do read that this month, that will be part of Tome Topple, which is another video. This, I picked The Desert Hedge Murders, which I believe is set near Las Vegas. Free-spirited octogenarians on their trip to tour ghost towns out west. Desert setting. The book club I'm reading this for is actually reading the first book in this series, The Prairie Grass Murders. Oh, and Pat has already signed it. In fact, I think Pat might be one of the first people I met when I moved to Colorado. But I've already read The Prairie Grass Murders, so I thought, well, I've got this, so I'll go ahead and read this for a book club. The next one is Summer Sun. Choose a book with a summer cover, a sun on the cover, or summer or sun in the title. And I've got another challenge that requires me to read something with summer in the title, so that kind of narrows down my choices if I want it to count for both. So I'm going with, and I have no idea where this came from, why it's on my shelf, Summer of 42 by Herman Raucher? I don't know how he pronounces it. And I looked him up. He is still alive. And this is autobiographical, and I think I'm going to hate this. I may end up DNFing it. And this is a novelization of a movie and the screenplay. He wrote the screenplay, and it was nominated for Best Original Screenplay for an Oscar. But let me just read you the description. In everyone's life, there is a summer of 42. In that particular summer, Hermy was 15, wildly obsessed with sex, deeply and passionately in love with an older woman of 22. Summer of 42 is the story of Hermy and the lovely Dorothy, of Hermy's frantic efforts to become a man, and of his glorious and heartbreaking initiation into sex. This is going to be awful. I don't want to read this, but I will try. I mean, it's apparently famous, and it's got like 3.9 on Goodreads. But if it surprises me, I will let you know. But yeah. So then the last of the basic bear prompts is Holidays, a book set somewhere you have always wanted to go on holiday. So, well, I don't know about always, but I began reading Agatha Christie's at like age 8. I guess I've, since then at least, always been sort of fascinated by England and London in particular, because that's where a lot of the Poirot stories were based in London. And of course, there was the village of St. Mary Mead. Several years ago, I started on the chronological Christie challenge, and yes, it really, really bothers me that all 3 words start with CH, but 2 of them are a hard K sound, and the last word is a ch sound. So that does bother me, but that's just, I'm weird that way. But this is Mr. Parker Pyne Detective, and it is a collection of short stories, and it's where we're introduced to Miss Lemon, who later becomes Poirot's secretary. I think Miss Lemon is probably one of my favorite characters in the Christie oeuvre. And I'm several stories into this one already. Some of them are cute and amusing. The last one I read did not age well. Yeah, so this is going to be sort of a mixed bag. I don't think I've read this since I was like 11 or 12. So it'll be interesting because a lot of the Christies, I think I read most of the Agatha Christie's mysteries. I read most of them between the ages of like 8 and 12. And I had no historical context for anything. Adult relationships, I was all about the puzzle, and so now it's interesting to go back. I still am very plot driven and very puzzle oriented on mysteries, but But it's interesting now to go, oh, well, yeah, I actually know what was happening in the 1930s now. So, or at least I have some idea. I mean, I wasn't there. I'm not that old. So now we're on to the extra berry prompts. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda. A book you meant to read in the first half of 2020. And that is so many of them. Yeah, I told you I go through all that work to come up with my TBR for the month, and it's always like 30 or 40 books. I cannot read 30 or 40 books in a month. I end up making it through about 10, maybe 12 or 13 of them. So there's a lot of them. This is one that I had intended, and I did start it, but it was kind of, I thought it was kind of twee. I was just bouncing off the language, but a lot of times I'll put a book down because it's just not working for me, and I'll go back to it later, and it'll be fine. Like Peripheral, William Gibson, Peripheral. It was for this the Strange Worlds book club. I was like, I have no idea what's going on, and that's, I gather, sort of a common theme with William Gibson's work, is that he just tosses you in and sink or swim. But then I tried it later, and I ended up really liking it, unlike most of the people in my book club. But this one, most of the people in the book club did really like this one, so I'm gonna give it another try. But this is How You Lose the Time War, and that is by Amal, El-Mohtar, and Max Gladstone. And it is really different. I've never read anything like it. It's sort of a love story. It's this weird correspondence between these two agents of these opposing agencies, and there's this war that's, I don't know, it's taking millennia. I really don't know what's going on. Hopefully I'll be able to actually figure it out, and maybe the language won't, because the language and the scenarios are just, it's, I don't know, contrived isn't really the right word, but I wasn't feeling it, and so I'll try it. And then Wildlife, a book with an animal on the cover that makes you think of summer. And I got this one used. Our local library has a little used bookshop in the library, I think run by Friends of the Library. And so this one came without a dust jacket. It's Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And as you can see, it's got a little dragonfly embossed there. And that's just something I've always associated with summer. I guess they're summer animals. I don't know that I've seen them outside of summer. And this is a book club. I belong to a mystery book club that meets locally, and well, now we're on Zoom, I guess. We're gonna try meeting on Zoom. We've been on hiatus, so the first one going back is gonna be Where the Crawdads Sing, and yeah, that's how you can tell I got it at the library's sale. There is my TBR for summer book hibernation. I will put links down below so that you can see his announcement and get the full effect. And I guess I'll see you all on social media if you participate, because he does have a hashtag set up, hashtag book hibernation, all together, but I'll put that down below so that you can see that. And subscribe. See you around.